Okay, welcome to the next episode of the Sea Fishing Show. So today, I'm going to go through something a little bit different for you. So, I had a few people message and comment on the picture post I put online on Facebook regarding how to fish big hooks with the Imp system. Now, for those of you that use the Imp over the years and stuff, you know that if you're using a J hook, you can go quite far up. I normally use like 8 O's. I think it would probably fit a 9 or 10. I've got 10 O's there, and it fits in fine. I think the trouble is, as soon as you start using a wider gauge hook, it can get really like restricted. So when it hits the water, it wouldn't release every time. So I've come up with an idea. So I know there's people like to use the dongles and then using oval rings and stuff on the dongles just to clip it into the splashdown clips from Gemini. Now, I personally love the Imp. I love the way the Imp works. It releases every single time, and I've never had an issue with the Imp. So that's why I'm a big fan of the Imp. I use the Imp for 95% of my fishing in the UK, and yeah, it works. Now the trouble is with that, I needed to find a way to make this work. So what I've done, I've got these little oval rings which I'll put in the comments. They're 20 mil, and I got them on eBay. They were like £7 something for 100, cheap as chips. And I've done different versions. So basically, what I've done there, I've just tied it on with some wire. But on the other rigs, what I've done is I've tied it on to the top of the shank of the hook and wrapped it around to the bottom, and it sits back like that. So I'll just show you this one in a minute. But that's a 10-0 octopus hook, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some shrink tubing over the top of that. I'm going to get some today, and then I can basically just form that right into place. And don't forget, obviously, with wherever it is, it needs to be at the secure point, because when I go to pendulum cast, that's going to be what's holding the rig on. So this will allow me to fish big baits, and perfect for going skate fishing in Scotland. It's perfect for going over to Fuerteventura, anywhere where you've got to use a large bait. If I show you that now, obviously that will sit in like that, okay? And then what will happen is that Imp will come up, hook releases every time. It's perfect, guys, it really is. I've got no worries about using it over in Norway. Obviously these rigs I've made up here are 150-pound rigs for targeting halibut. And obviously I'm gonna try and use some bigger baits with it. Probably gonna use some pop-up baits, but yeah, I've got some spare oval rings there. But I'll show you quickly the that was my first attempt at it. So I thought I'll have another look at it. Where's the right one? Two. Let's have a look. I think it's that one. That one there. So on this hook here, got two 10-0s, okay, and then what I've done, I've got some 60-pound wire, okay. It's the American fishing wire. So it's a tieable, knottable, it's like nylon coated wire. So I've tied a knot to the top eye of the shank, and then I've wrapped it around, and when I've got it as tight as I wanted, I've literally pulled it back over the top of the hook, and it sits there like that. See that? That's my finished design of it, because it doesn't move then, and that Imp will go like that, and it will go back up into the bait once it's unclipped. And then what I'm planning to do, as I said, I'm going to plan to get some shrink tube and go over the top of the rig with shrinking down into that. At the end of the day, that's going through. You're going to wrap your bait around that. A little bit on the back there, clipped on. You imagine going using like whole octopus. That would be embedded, obviously, right at the bottom. You always want to make sure your hook point's proud anyway. Exactly the same for targeting stingrays and that in Fuerteventura, with using sardine and anchovies and mackerel and stuff like that. It's going to work a treat, guys. It really is. And I know a lot of people are fans of the Imp, and it's been hard over the years trying to find a way to clip it down, where this will work a treat. Okay, so straight up in there like that, as you can see. Let's have a look. What I tend to do with my rigs, if I'm making, so some of the halibut rigs I've made are 6 foot, between 6 foot to 10 foot. I've done 6 foot ones, I've done 8 foot ones, I've done 10 foot ones. And what I'll do, if I'm making like a 10 foot trace, I'll make a 9 foot or an 8.5 foot rig body. I'll make a trace line just shorter, normally about a foot shorter. And the reason being then is when that's compacted down, that will clip away like so. But when you're balancing the lead, the lead and the bait, you can pull down that to the bottom, which will help maintain the weight. Now, you don't want your bait weighing heavier than the lead really. So what I would be using, a minimum of 8 ounces, 8 to 10 ounces, and then away you go basically, guys. But yeah, it's a good little system which I've come up with, which I think is going to work an absolute treat. So that's a little tip for you there for clipping your big hooks down onto the Imp's release system. And the link of it will be on for these little oval rings. I'll put on the description. I've done a video on my on packing my stuff for Norway. I went through it in a little bit, but I thought I'd do a little video just for you that are more interested in that. And where you go. But yeah, £7.50 or something or other for 100 on eBay. I wouldn't go buying them. There's certain companies now have started selling them and buying them by packs of 10 for like 3 or 4 quid. And it's a real no-brainer, guys. Just go straight onto eBay, cheap as chips, buy them by the 100. I've got them in 20mm. What work a treat. I am going to get them in 15mm next. The 10mm ones were slightly too small, just to see if I can smallen it down a little bit. But yeah, as I said, there you go. It'll clip in like that. It'll go back up into the hook and hopefully catches a fish or two. But yeah, that's my video on the oval ring to the Imp system, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.